So for us, we just want to build the most badass business possible. And for us, badass means small team, fully independent, highly profitable, and having massive impact in this space, right? We want to hit a pretty large scale without having to raise $100 million.
With STRB is a great example because we actually had quite a big team there. And I had one guy on my team who was one of like head SDRs managing this outsourcing. So he would say, get us these leads, and we would just get a spreadsheet. At first it was, I think, two SDRs in Prague. So basically what the SDRs did was take these leads, upload them to the email cadences and start sending them out. And once we got replies, they would reply and set up meetings for our account executives, or initially it was just myself. And then the team grew. So we hired 3 people in San Francisco, which I think was a mistake looking back on it. But at the same time, we also increased the SDR team in Prague to 5 people. And so it was kind of this scaling growth. It was a little fast. I mean,
called blocking objections, which means you preempt the objection. You raise, as you pointed out, you raise the objection before they do. 4-step process. First, you raise the objection, then you offer to resolve the objection, you demonstrate something, and then you tie it down.
If you are a person that cannot close, the first person you hire is a closer that will also self-source on their own deals. So it's that's kind of your first hire. Usually that happens after you've closed, call it 10 real deals that are outside of your network. That's when you can justify making your first hire there.
Start with the end in mind and then work my way backwards. So if we had a certain amount of leads that we needed to be generating per month, I would know that's the focus and I need to work backwards from that. If I just started saying, okay, let's do SEO, let's do paid advertising, then all of a sudden I might be getting off track with what actually matters, which is the leads that we need to generate. So I would say, okay, we need to generate 5 leads per month. To do that, we're gonna need to spend this much on ads through these 4 or 5 platforms. We're going to need to do this for SEO. And then I would start breaking it down and getting more specific, more granular with each step that way.
And in the beginning, I think the biggest mistake that I made, which created a huge impact both personally and professionally, was to underestimate the amount of cash that would be required. Because I had been working for the company for the industry, medical technology industry, for quite some time, and people knew me. So I thought, I'm going to start Valley Connected. People know Ernesto and they will work with me. But that was not the case. That was actually the fact that they knew me made it even harder.
So we just did a ton of audits. Now, were we specialists in audits? No. Did we know what to do? Do we always, can we do that? Yeah. And so we expanded to that. And then now we did all parts of SEO. And people were like, hey, I got you for SEO. You're working with us, but can you help us with PPC? And we're like, no, we can't. We only do SEO. And, after about 15, 20 times, we're like, hey, do you know any PPC agencies? We're like, why don't we just hire from some PPC experts that can do it for our clients? And so it was more from the demand side than it was like a generalist. Now, if we started with everything, would we be successful? Probably not. We would be too spread thin. But as you scale, you can kind of expand.
The annual revenue, I can tell you just like a range. We're around like €500,000 and talking about the MRR or like the monthly recurring revenue. We have it around like 40K. So kind of like last year we started from 8,000 euros. We ended the year with 40K. So that was like pretty nice grow. And for this year, we want to kind of follow the same growth as we had last year.
Yeah, you probably want to hit a million.
And LinkedIn has done this wonderfully, I would say. They've done a lot of things wrong, but one thing is that they play on one human factor, which is human curiosity. And imagine that effect you got, like, oh, somebody watched your profile, wondering who this guy is or wondering what he does. And everybody has had this moment where you say, who's this guy? Gonna link to his profile and see who this guy is and check him out, basically. So all we do is we play on human curiosity. If you're giving value, a lot of value, you're wondering who is this guy or girl, like what does he do? And you just let human curiosity come into play. And that's it. You're not forcing somebody to buy something from you. You're just playing on his or her human curiosity to dive into your funnel, basically.
We bootstrapped for the most part. It started as an in-house project in our agency. The difference was we did receive a grant. The timing worked out really well. So around the time that we got out of the agency, we also raised a seed round of funding for Proposify. We raised $270,000, which wasn't a huge amount. When you talk seed rounds, though, that's pretty small, but it was enough to allow us to get out of the agency, focus, keep Jonathan employed, and then hire another developer to just keep working on the product.
If there are some folks listening to us from the sales/biz dev departments, LinkedIn automation, but very personalized, really helps. Also personalized emails in sequences. Those are the kind of things that if you're reaching hundreds of people, but you need to make sure that you're touched more than once, because there's these studies that show that you need to have around 6 to 8 touches to get a meeting.
Not every meeting, but of these 10 meetings, 8 of them, this is kind of the flow that happened, or this is the typical flow that I'm seeing. Sometimes it went in a little bit of a different way, but this is the typical flow. So here are the markers. Here are the milestones that we're looking for. You create that out, then you start creating some sort of process and scripts around that. You take that, now you've got something that's bare bones. You've got something that's that's in its infancy. You take that and you hire somebody junior and you have them now executed, and then that's kind of like your testing, right? That's kind of you proving out the model. It's your MVP, but that's how you go about it. You bring in someone senior, they're gonna tell you this one other story of this is how I did it in my last company. I'm not doing it this way. This won't work. And you're a technical founder. You have no clue what the hell he's saying, right? So you trust him. 8 months later, he's made no sales, and you got to fire him. But now, not only are you out the money that you paid him in salary, but worst of all, you're out the time. That opportunity cost is far more expensive than the $120,000 that you're going to pay him.
Outbound campaigns, not only good copy, not only good emails, not only good timing is important, but for example, if you have a really good brand and your target audience can recognize you when you use outbound cold emails, it's much easier to start conversation than if you're just no-name company and try to contact someone. So it depends. If your website is not well done, the cold email campaign will not work great.